something happens, interestingly enough, after people have finished their course, because, you know, we see each other regularly, you're seeing each other regularly, you're at the studio, you know, some of you are at the studio a lot, that there's, you can start having a different experience. Your frequency can be a little bit less than it is during the course. And people kind of shy away from me, like I'm looking at them like they should have a practice, or they should be doing something, or that they should be different, and that I don't have any of those expectations. You were gonna say something, Anka?
No, I was clearing my throat, sorry.
Okay.
I'm gonna mute.
I will too. Okay. So, I hope it was as good. So just like, if anything changes for you, like I don't have any expectation of that any of you adopt a practice. I'd like you to adopt a practice. I would love the fact that you adopt a practice, but I accept you where you are. So don't feel like if you come back in a month or 2 months or 3 months or 6 months, that people get a little bit sheepish around me. And I've been doing some inquiring about that. One of them was today. And so that people can just feel that I look at people with a particular, and I know what questions to ask. So it can be a little bit vulnerable for them. So just don't be worried about where you are and any expectations you think that I have. I'm quite comfortable with wherever you are, but I would like to continue it feels like there's a closeness and there's a friendship that I feel with everybody that goes through the course, because it's kind of intimate. So just be as normal as you possibly can be, and don't run away. It's okay. So, and then just, you know, being able to tell me what's going on with you if that feels comfortable for you, but we'll follow your lead is what it comes down to. Okay. Still nobody. So, who would like to, who?
I haven't done one for a while.
Wow, you're putting your hand up. I thought I missed something. Okay.
Yeah.
Anka, would you like to do a meditation for us?
I'd love to.
Oh my gosh, that is just so remarkable. Yay
I'm
for
just
us.
gonna make it up as I go along.
As you should.
As we do.
Okay.
Everybody close your eyes. Get comfortable in your seats. Take a deep breath in and exhale through your mouth. Just keep breathing. Ensure your spine is nice and straight. And wherever you are, if you're sitting on your chair or cross-legged, just sink a little bit deeper into your sitting bones and just feel held. Take another deep inhalation. Feel that beautiful oxygen filling your lungs. And exhale. And take another 2 more deep inhalations and exhalations. And exhale. And another deep inhale. And exhale. And another one. And exhale. At your next inhalation, feel the beautiful air going into your lungs. Feel your body expanding sideways. And exhale. Just feel the breath in and out. Follow your breath from your nose all the way down into your lungs. Oxygenating every cell of your body. And at each inhalation, just breathe a little bit deeper from your lungs into your solar plexus, nourishing your body. Next inhale, take another deep breath to your dantian. Feel the air circulate there before you exhale. I invite you to put your left hand on your heart space and your right hand on your dantian. And you can just breathe that energy up and down between these two energy centers. Nourishing your body, exhaling anything that doesn't serve you. We can bring our hands back into heart center. Keeping our eyes closed, we can take another 3 breaths. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
So ladies, how did she do?
Thank you.
It was very good. I enjoyed
Thank
that.
you.
I enjoyed that very much. You didn't miss a beat. You even, I invite you. One interesting cue, I'm not faulting it, but one interesting cue is feel yourself, feel your body expand sideways.
I should have said ribcage, yeah. I
Yeah,
felt a bit chubby there as well.
I got chubby too. I found that, my own insecurities come up right there. Oh my.
Yeah.
So,
So ribcage.
yeah, I don't think you need to change that. I knew what you meant. I just thought it was,
Mm.
so that was beautiful.
Thank
Good
you.
job. Wow. Thank you. So I guess, quick question, and I'll give you a moment to think about it, but what have you got out of your, I guess we'll ask just specifically about the yogic philosophy. And if you can point to anything that is knowledge that was useful to you, or utility, like you were able to create something in your life of different experience, frequency, insights, these kinds of things. Just take a moment. It'd be nice to hear from you about what you've got out of specifically the yogic philosophy, if anything. Might just be nice chats with me. I'll give everybody a couple moments. I think a couple of you are ready, but and how are we doing? Everybody have something to put out there? Okay, good. Who wants to start? Yay, Megan.
Hello. For me, I think it was just learning about the negative bias and just gaining that awareness of separating like the mind and your thoughts with like your inner that inner peace and inner calmness. And definitely tapped more into like my authentic self, I think, and which was quite nice. And just like being able to, through meditation and slowing things down, just being able to tap into just that peaceful state that sits here for me. It's like a little shrine, I like to think of it.
Yay.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. Wow. Thank you very much. That makes me happy on the inside, where my heart is. So I interrupted you. I'm sorry, Megan. Was there anything else you wanted to say?
No, that's all. I learned lots of other things, but those are the main things I learned, I think.
Thank you. Anybody else? Why not?
Okay. I think like, yeah, okay, so also the negative bias, and then just becoming more aware of how you talk to other people, but also to watch yourself when they respond to you, to not immediately think the worst, or jump to conclusions, and rather ask if you don't understand, or if it's not clear what they mean with what they said. And yeah, so yeah, I think that's...
What's the benefit to you of not leaping to conclusions and those kinds of things? Like, what do you get out of that? Like, I can make some stuff up, but I'd rather hear it from you.
Instead of jumping to conclusions and stuff, the benefit for me is a clearer picture of what's actually, or what they're trying to say, instead of just going, oh my word, you are so rude right now. And yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
So there can be a difference between what you instantly perceive they're doing to what they're actually doing.
Yes, yes.
Amazing. Yep.
Yeah.
That's one of the most important things in the course. Keep going.
And then, yeah, just then basically as well, not allowing other people's feelings to have a direct impact on my feelings, rather to, instead of taking that from them and taking it on as my own, to then calm myself for 5 minutes or something, and then to like reconnect with myself and say, but this isn't my thing, it's their apple, not my apple. So yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that you're making a boundary between what other people's truth is, and you're not abandoning your own right off the start. You're actually allowing yourself to check to see what your truth is in spite of what other people are saying.
Yes, exactly.
Beautiful. Yay. Thanks, Mia.
Cool.
Anybody else? Yay.
Sure. I don't even know where to start. Definitely, I'll echo what Megan and Mia said. You know, definitely the negative bias is like a huge, is huge to know that, and also to have the power over it. You know what's going on now. You know, the awareness of self, and knowing, you know, I'm not my mind. You know, and learning to feel and trust that, instead of, you know, just being in my head 99.9% of the time. So I'm not dropping into my true self, you know, and my gut, or whatever you want to call it, and that awareness of self. And the perspective thing is just amazing for everyday life. You know, if you have, it was an example I heard on another talk, you know, a taxi driver in Hong Kong, and he's so rude and blah, blah, blah. But then if you take a deep breath and go, God, this guy's been doing it for 20 years and he's dealing with people and drunk people at night time, you know, no wonder he's in a bad mood, or rushing, or driving badly, or whatever. So yeah, it's just good to know everyone's got their own perspective. And also the knowledge of having, you know, that a conversation, you know, when we try and have conversations from one perspective, and they aren't. You know, you need to find out what other people's perspectives are, or the people that are close to you. Yeah, because yeah.
You say?
And there's so much more, but yeah, that's the
Okay. Oh, we just shuffled.
yeah. Sorry, I did something. Yeah, I tried to press mute. Have I got the power to shuffle people? Wow.
Apparently, I thought Marianne was trying to hide, so she just disappeared on me. So, anything to add to that, Marianne?
No, you said it all. That's why I waited until now.
Aha.
I really enjoyed it, Bryan. My main reason why I enjoyed the philosophy the most is because you offered it. So I got to know you.
Oh,
No,
thank you.
I'm just teasing. That as well. No, for me it's also the negative bias, of course, but it's to mainly the whole transformation process. And going as deep as into the dharma and karmas and those things, it really, yeah, it makes a difference to hear it, to see it on paper, to talk about it, and to discuss it. Might have heard about it before, might have applied some similar principles and things like that, but it's not the same when you go so much in depth and in detail. And especially now during these times and how this year has gone by, I think I couldn't have chosen a better time to do this and to do this course. And it's just talking out of, for me privately, it's made a huge change and a huge success basically. And I feel better, I feel more energetic with everything that we deal with every day. And, and I think it's got to do with the whole big umbrella of transformation and being much more aware of what is happening every day around you and in your life, and that includes other people, your actions towards them, and why and how they are handling every certain situations. It gives you just so much more patience, and just like I said, the way you handle it makes the world of a difference.
Beautiful.
And yes, and starting with the meditation, it made a huge change into my energy, into all of that, and I would definitely continue with that and go more in depth if I take something away personally or physically.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you.
All right.
Hello, Kamishni. You got your cheetah print on. Woohoo!
Because I have to be honest, I forgot today was classes because I came from work. I was rushing around to get a few things before I could come home because we're doing a fast now for a month, abstaining from meat. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's from the 17th. All Hindus are doing it. Most Hindus do it from the 17th of September to the 17th of October.
What is this called?
It's called Pertasi.
Okay. I don't know that name.
Sorry?
I don't know that name. I don't know Pertasi.
Okay. And then after that, we have the Festival of Lights, which is Deepavali.
Dholiwal.
Deepavali.
What the hell's Dholiwal then?
We light fireworks. You know the Indian festival where they light fireworks and stuff?
Yeah, and you put lights up and all kinds of stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Bryan, say that again.
Dholiwal.
Because I think it's Diwali, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly or not.
Diwali. Well, I think I was in India for that, and that's how I was pronouncing it. So maybe it's been a while. It has been 20 years. So
okay. It's Diwali.
Diwali.
Yeah, you can say Diwali
Yeah, but you
or
say it
Deepavali. Sorry?
Mishni, you say it again.
You can say Diwali or Deepavali.
Okay. Deepavali. That's a new one.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, I got it.
But in India, they celebrate for the whole week. They like basically celebrate for the
Yes,
whole
they
week.
do.
Yeah, we just have 2 days.
Okay. So what I just asked everybody is, if anything, what did they get out of either insight or practice or utility in their life? What did they get out of just the, if anything, out of the yoga philosophy? So is there anything, since you are so experienced with all this stuff, I don't know what you got out of this one, but hopefully something.
Uh, that experience. But okay, I like yogic philosophy, and I really enjoy the meditation.
Hmm.
The meditations, yeah, and that's really worked for me. I feel it's working for me even now too.
And what's different? Because you've been around meditations before. What was different this time for you? Like, what spoke to you and what did you get out of it?
The energetic connection and the feel, like, I know what people talk about when they say, they've connected to the your inner being, like, because I felt that energy. Yeah,
Beautiful. Great
I
distinction.
know it exists, and if anything, I'm going to continue with the meditations, so that because I think last week when I went to Durban, I sort of got sidetracked and I wasn't doing it so often, like at night. Normally before, when I started this course, I was doing it like every day, every night, and then I stopped. And after I went to Durban, I stopped. I got a bit sidetracked, but I'm gonna get back on, because I know I've experienced the energy within.
Good. So
And it's like,
go ahead. And it's what?
I think it encourages me to think more positively, and even in the way I handle situations and stuff,
Beautiful.
I'm better equipped to deal with stuff.
Music to my ears. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So you're going to, between now and Saturday, are you going to, can be somewhat consistent?
Yeah.
Good. So we'll see how that comes up on Saturday.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I don't think we're going to go into the book yet. So this is going to require, this is an important distinction in transformation. You might not be able to use it today or right now, but it's very important. It was probably the most important one for me in regards to utility. And but I had to do some work to get there. So it's one of those ones, I've heard this my whole life in my transformational life, was people talk about duality and non-duality, and nobody could make any sense of it for me, like zero. And so it was rather confusing. And then the Course in Miracles made it very clear. So, and I'm very thankful for that. So we're just going to deal with it as a concept. So all you need to do is we want you to be able to repeat the concept because you know what it is. And then if you can apply it, then so be it right now, or somewhere else in your future, so be it, but it's too valuable to not add in. Okay, so can anybody take a crack at what duality and non-duality is? Sure, Megan, what were you saying?
If I'm being honest, I have no idea. No clue.
Okay, so
Sorry.
To do with equality?
no, duality, dual,
Yeah.
duality, and non-duality. So Megan, if we just sound it out a little bit because you're a teacher, and if we're talking about dual or duality, What are we talking about? Like, what's just the general concept?
Well, like a duel is when two people.
Two.
Yeah.
Two. It's not even people, it's two.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. All right, good. So, so what we're going to do to illustrate this is we're going to do a little exercise where you are now creation. Your point of view is creation. Your point of view is the creator, whatever that is for you. And what they teach in all of the disciplines, they teach that, like in science, they talk about a big bang. There was nothing and then there was everything. Speaking of miracles, but anyway, science is funny. Give me one miracle and then I can explain everything from there. So if you're going to be creator. So you become aware, you are aware, and that in all of the teachings is that there's no timeline. It's not linear. So if you're the creator, you've always been. So it's like infinity. It's a paradox. It's like, how can everything just keep on going and keep on going and keep on going? So the same is with time, is that if you're the creator, then you've always been. Can you wrap your head around that? As a concept, it's just a concept so far. So you've always been. And then, you start having a little conversation with yourself. You say, creator self. So if you were going to create an image for yourself, like you could give yourself a body, you could, what, Kamishni?
Okay, I got a question.
Yes.
You said if you are the creator, you've always been. What does that mean?
Well, infinite and eternal.
Oh,
so
okay.
we always think in linear fashion. We always think, okay, there was nothing and then there was something. So the opposite of that is always.
Okay.
You've always been. There was no beginning, there's no ending, there's always. There's no such thing as time. The Buddhists, the Hindus, all of them don't believe in time.
Timeless.
Timeless. Yes, timeless.
Yeah, Deepak Chopra always talks about timeless.
Well, let's go with timeless. That's a good one. It's easy to wrap our head around timeless. So you're the creator. This isn't the hard part. You can take all of this loosely. The distinction it's an interesting distinction about timelessness and infinity, but just realizing they're paradoxical. And so you're the creator, and there's nothing but you. You are conscious. You're conscious of your infinite self. You're conscious of like all the particles and everything that is around you. And the first thing that you're going to shape, because nothing has any shape, the first thing you're going to shape is you. So imagine yourself, and that we might as well just go with the image of what you look like now, and you can improve it any way you want to. And you can be 100 feet tall or 1,000 feet tall, or you can be the size of a planet, whatever you want, because there's nothing there. So there's no comparison. So I want you to take a moment and just imagine what you are as creation. What form are you going to take? In the Bhagavad Gita, for example, is that creation took on 3 forms. Shiva was one of the forms. Vishnu was one of the forms. What was the other one, Kamishni?
Brahma, Vishnu, Brahma.
Brahma. So those are 3 forms. So here's another paradox, is that creation was all of creation and took on physical body forms, 3 different ones. So that had 3 different jobs. So you have a lot of options. You can do whatever the hell you want to do, right? You're the creator. What the heck happened there? Okay. So so have you got an image of yourself? Can you envision, like you were having a little conversation with yourself and you want to create a few things. So the first thing that you create is you give yourself form. Everybody got that in their mind? Okay. So then now you're kind of for whatever reason, you want to create some more things. And you kind of know what the universe looks like, so you know what the end result is. So just start creating, the universe, and there's multiple universes, and there's multidimensional. So we won't think too much about multidimensional, and we won't think about multi-universes quite yet. Just think about this universe. And start creating. What would you create first? How would you create it? Everybody got that in their mind? Where is Kanishni? Okay. There's Megan. Okay. So give me, Anka, give me just an idea of what your image was of how you created yourself, and then how you started on the universe. You'll have to turn your sound on first. You are the creator. You can do it with your hands or your mind.
Well, I saw myself as it was like a spiral of white light.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to. And then
how big are you?
Oh, I wasn't too big. Not much bigger than I am now.
Wow, that's a swirl of light. Okay.
Yeah, it's a kind of my height. Which isn't a lot of light, but it was just beautiful golden light. And then the universe, I kind of wanted to change it to what it is now, but I find that it is so perfect. And then I saw our planet, or planet Earth, but the way it is, because it is so perfect. I thought also, do I change the color of the water? I was like, no, so I was almost watching the Earth from out of space and everything around it. So I didn't really want to change anything.
Okay. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So you created yourself as, all of you create yourself as some kind of image, and then start creating the universe, like whether you start with a sun, or you put all the stars up first, or the gravitational forces and black holes, and and frequency. There's all kinds of things, and geometrics, and that everything's tied together in a beautiful way. So and now you've done that. So do that in your way. Just think about how you would do that. And then we'll go down to, let's assume that there's just to give you an idea of immensity, is Carl Sagan in the 1970s, and actually since they've put up the Hubble telescope, and we've been able to have a much better look at our universe and our galaxy, is that they've been able to, Carl Sagan's original quote was, "There are more stars in the sky, in the universe, than there are grains of sand on the earth." So all the beaches. So somebody on the back of a cocktail napkin actually wrote, they took a cubic centimeter of sand, they counted it out, and then they did a rough estimate of all the beaches, like all around all of just the beaches around all of the continents, and figured out the miles and all the rest of it. And they worked out that would be 5 sextillion grains of sand. And that's a 5 and 22 zeros. And then now what they've seen is that with the Hubble and the rest of it, this is after Sagan said this, that they've estimate that there are 22 sextillion stars in our universe, and the billions of galaxies, for heaven's sakes. So it's absolutely immense. That's how much of a creator you are. And that's just this universe, and that doesn't count any multiverses of any kind. So that's how big it is. That's how many stars you've created, how many planets. So we'll just assume if there's 22 sextillion stars approximately, that there's more than one planet with life on it. that there are beings. And I want you to take a moment and create in your mind the beings that are on Earth and any other beings that you might be creating. Which took a blink of an eye for you, being and living in timelessness. So now why would you be creating, like how would you create those beings? Like if we'll take it to Earthlings, for example, but it'll be true about all of them. Why would you create these beings? Why would you have animals and trees and, on one specific planet, for example, what would your interest and hope be in that? What do you think that you were thinking in how interconnected it is? And that how the people evolved? What is your thought process of how you did that? Do you think, here's a simple way to say that. Do you think you cared about what you created? Does that seem right? Do you think you cared about it? Yeah. It's like any artist, is that you're going to put, you take a look at the universe and it's amazing. So now if you're looking from, now that you're the creator and you're looking at all the planets and all the galaxies and all the stars and black holes and all the interesting things that are happening out there, and that human beings are, they aren't creation. They're not as smart as creation is. They're something less than that. And that as a creator, are you hoping for the best for them? Do you want the best for your creatures and your planets in your universe? You do. So which part of the universe, because, creation is a miracle, and everything that, everything in the universes and how they work together is a miracle. So what part of looking at the universe, yes, Mia?
Marika's in the waiting room.
Oh, she is, isn't she?
Sorry.
No, good. This is going to be very confusing. Hello, Marcia.
Hello.
Okay, we're right in the middle of you being the creator. So this is, we're going to try and catch you up, but more or less, you became conscious, you're the creator, you created your own form of whatever that looks like. And then you started creating the universe, which involves billions of galaxies and multiple billions of stars. And that now you've created, all the planets and everything that's in it. And then you've also created life, as in plants and fish and furry little animals and peoples. And then I'm getting to some questioning. So that's where the imaginings they've done so far. And what we're doing is we're looking to understand the concept of duality and non-duality. So, and it might not be something that you can apply today, but it's a very powerful concept for transformation. For me, it lives for me. I can use this, it has utility. And it's powerful for me. And it's worth knowing, and that whether you ever use it or not, we'll see if it actually is something you can use today or somewhere on your path. We'll see. So, Corsten Sheraton. Okay, you have a new name.
Surnames.
So, oh, I see. All right, so are we ready? Hopefully you're up to speed. If you're confused, we'll get there. All right, so now you're taking a look at that you've created all of these things as, like if you look at, you created yourself in whatever image you wanted to see yourself in, and you created the universe and the planets and the animals and the people, and now we're just looking at Earth. Well, we're actually looking at the whole thing. What part of what you created out of nothing is a miracle or not a miracle?
Is Mia trying to talk?
I think, well, she is talking to the screen. I'm just not sure. He's ready.
All of it is a miracle.
All of it's a miracle. Einstein says that either all of it is a miracle or none of it is. So if you're looking from the shoes of creation, that creation would, whatever it is, even if it's just conscious intelligence, or, you know, alignment, conscious alignment, whatever creation is, that everything that was created, everything that you created right down to the people is a miracle for you. I mean, we, you know, if you believe evolution, then we were single-celled animals that a couple single cells got together and decided to become a multi-celled animal, which is interesting. And then, you know, which developed into us that's got a liver and kidneys and is really quite complicated beings. If you believe something else, that God or creation created us as a being, or, you know, what we are now, but a less evolved version of that, that's whatever your belief is on that. Both of those are pretty much a miracle if you ask me. So when you're looking at everything, and do you think creation created out of love? Let's just pretend creation did create out of love. Would creation love, you know, the sun more than it loved a rabbit? Do this or do this? Yes. So creation would love all of its pieces and its bits and its parts. So then if you're looking from the shoes of creation, where is evil? Maya, Maya.
Evil is in the things you created in their minds.
In their minds. Okay.
Yes.
So when you're looking from creation's feet, is there evil? Does creation love its humans? Okay. So that's more or less what we're doing with creation. Is if creation's looking at everything, it's created in one energy, it's created from a place of love, everything is part of the design. We might not be perfect, but, you know, we are where we are, and we're learning and evolving on some kind of trajectory that we don't even understand. We don't know where souls come from, and we don't know, you know, where souls go. If you believe that life is infinite and eternal, or if you believe that when we die, we're worm food and that's it. Just out of curiosity, who thinks that there's an afterlife of some sort? An afterlife of some sort. And two maybes, okay? Or maybe no's, I don't know. Okay. So now we'll look from the people side. Now you're a human being, and your shoes and your perspective is a human on earth. Where's evil? Anybody? Go, Megan.
Well, for me personally, the creator created people with free will.
Yes.
So along with free will comes like you have a choice. So people maybe along with that, greed came along, or power struggles, and with that comes evil if there's too much of it.
Right. Okay. Too much of it. Oh, too much of what?
Of like, greed and power. If you righteousness, ego, like all those. Well, I don't want to say emotions, but
sins. Yeah. They call it the 7 sins if you're Catholic or Christian, or I don't know it. But I don't believe in sins, so I don't really want to call them that, but okay. So usually I do this conversation. This is the first time I've ever done the conversation from the creator's shoes. And this just got very easy. This used to be a difficult conversation, and it's very easy now. So, so if you're looking at a human, and that humans that, because they feel, do you think humans feel perfect and like a miracle? Do they feel, you know, their greatness, and do they feel like they're a miracle? Do they Do they act that way? Do they believe in abundance?
I don't think
Some of
so.
them and some not.
So when we look at society, what is society shaped by? Intellect, yes. So is it shaped by love or is it shaped by lack?
Lack.
Is it shaped by fear and lack? So there's not enough food. There's all these people, like you take a look at trillionaires and billionaires, that we have so much lack that these people have adjusted the system in their favor over generations and generations to funnel all the money and wealth towards a very small group of people. Would you agree that that's true?
Totally.
Everybody else? Okay. So, and that there's a hole in the middle of them. If they actually felt whole and complete in themselves, would they really need $1 trillion? So, do you know there are trillionaires? There's a Saudi prince that on his website, he is, they say he's got $1.5 trillion, the equivalent to that. So just to give you an idea, we don't really have much concept about money. So I'm going to do that now is just call this out. Don't think about it. Don't do math. Just call out the first number that comes in your head. So if I gave you a rand every second, how long would it take before you're a millionaire? Anybody, quick?
1 million seconds.
Yes. How long is 1 million seconds? In time. You can speak years, months, days.
60 seconds. Somebody get a calculator.
Oh, somebody just shout it out, quick, a number.
I don't know, 10 years.
10 years, great, thank you. It actually, you'll become, if I give you a rand every second.
I'm so bad at maths.
Yeah, everybody is. No, that's why I'm doing this, so that we have an idea of what these numbers mean. So if I give you a rand every second, in 11 days, you're a millionaire. 11 days. So if I give you a rand every second, how many days before you're a billionaire? Call out a number, anybody.
4 weeks.
32 years. You are a billionaire in 32 years. If I give you a rand every second, you are, in 11 days, you're a millionaire. And in 32 years, you are a billionaire. So if you're now a trillionaire, if I gave you a rand every second, how long is it going to take before you're a trillionaire?
50 years.
3,200 years. 3,200 years. Every second, you're now a trillionaire. Who needs that amount of money, really? Who needs that level of power? So this isn't people that are whole. There's enough in this, like Gandhi said, there's enough for everybody's need. There's not enough for everybody's greed. If we were just human beings growing and learning and discovering what we are and learning about abundance and learning about caring and being in a society that actually worked for people, society is designed that we actually have to work around the clock just to take care of our needs. Never used to be that. In the 1950s, go ahead.
Okay, but what if they are using that money for good? Like to help other people, to help the underprivileged?
Yeah. Do you think that's what's happening?
Not everybody does it, but okay, I can give you an example. Oprah Winfrey, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's some questions about Oprah Winfrey these days, but okay, is that yes, there's some philanthropy out there, but the trillions of dollars, like here's another example, the US military lost $9 trillion. They don't know where it is. Bush, no, it was actually Rumsfeld, the day before, interestingly enough, September 10th, 2001, he announced that they couldn't find on that day 2.5 trillion, And then 9/11 happened and we never discussed it again. That was then. There's a lot more trillions missing now. So where's that money going? That amount of money, just the money that goes into the yearly US defense, could house and educate everybody on the planet. So it's an inordinate amount of money that is going somewhere, but it's not going to the people. It's really, really not going to the people. So are you with me, Kamishni?
Mm-hmm.
So like, well, here's another way to look at it. It's that 2/3 of the planet lives on $1.50 a day. That is not sharing the wealth. There is definitely an imbalanced system. And in the 1950s, there was much less poor people on the planet. And that in the first world, you only had one income. People had 6 weeks holiday. People had like a cabin or a country home, like something small, but still. And that, somebody got to stay at home with the kids, and that the standard of living was significantly higher now. Now there's countries that people have 3 jobs and they're working around the clock just to be able to pay their bills. And that's from the 1950s to now, so less than 100 years. So things were still pretty good in the 60s as well. So they're not really taking care of the people. So where is, when we take a look, you say do this the other way around and I can't get people to look at miracle. Now I'm trying to get you guys to see the part that's not working. So so people believe, we've already looked at that people believe in lack, and that's what's got the imbalance in economics. It's people are thinking of themselves for the most part, that there's a system of lack. People aren't really, people are working constantly. There's people so people manipulate. If people believed, if they trusted in themselves and in the system, and that they were going to get everything they needed and wanted, would they manipulate and steal? They wouldn't. So I'm going to try and draw this now, I think. How about that? So your creation, and just as everything that is created is inside of there. Everything that you created, there's everything in the universe is right in here. And including people, including everything that exists. And all of that you could agree upon was a miracle. And therefore there's only one energy. Everything was created in love. Everything was created to be what it is. Everything was created to be part of a greater whole. Everything, and it was all interdependent. Would you agree that it's interdependent in like such complex ways? We keep learning about how connected everything is. Is that true? Okay. So then that's everything it is, and that there's only one energy. So everything's been created out of love. So then we get this planet. So now this is Earth. And the only place that something exists, can you even see that? Oh my gosh. My camera is so bad. That's a little people.
We can see it. Can see it.
Okay, good. So there's people on this planet, and these people don't believe that they're whole. They don't believe that, they believe in lack. So can you see that? I actually put eyes on it. You probably can't even see that. Okay, so there's a circle. I've never done this on Zoom before. Well, maybe I have done this on Zoom before. Better? Can you see that? Okay. So everything in the universe is one energy. And then this energy here, so around each person, even though they've been created in perfection and God created them perfectly, they don't think they're perfect. They believe in lack. Hello, Mariki. This will make sense later, let's hope. So even though everything's been created in oneness, as Megan was saying, is that these beings have free choice. So they believe in lack. They believe that they're not whole. And therefore they can do anything that, they can do things that are lack-based. They can do things that are manipulation. They can do things where they take things that aren't theirs, because we need to, in this world, the dog eat dog, the rat race, that, no, you know, if you don't fight for yourself, nobody will, that you need to take what you need. Because if you don't, somebody else will. That's the thought process. And that's in this little circle here that is around every human being. If they believe in lack, that's inside of there. And everything else around it is actually made in as a miracle or in perfection. Does that make sense? Okay, so this is, so the oneness, you know, in every discipline that's worth its salt talks about oneness. The Buddhist, the Hindus, all of the channeled material, the Vedas, everybody. In meditation is the place that we're coming to, is our connection to all that is. And that what we are, when we reach out to all that is and we move away from our identity, this is the energy that we're surrounded with in our identity, lack and fear. And it is, and if you're creation, then this is illusionary. Which I'm always saying that in Sanskrit and in yogic philosophy, that illusion is Maya. So this little circle is Maya. You believe that that the universe is different than it actually is. So in oneness, then everything is created in the vision of God, or in the vision of creation, is oneness. And this idea that we are separate and that there's lack and there's fear is duality. Is that happens inside of these little circles around every human being. It's the only place in the world, in the universe, that actually believes in duality. The leopard that's up in the tree isn't thinking about duality. He isn't even having a conversation with himself about, well, this is what I am, this is my identity. When a gazelle runs under the tree, the leopard doesn't go, do I deserve this leopard? It just acts. It just does what it does. It's the human beings that actually have this level of doubt. That's what this is we don't really have an experience of who we are, and that video about masters of lack. So what is, I haven't said it yet, but I've kind of inched towards it. So anybody, what is duality then? Go ahead.
Duality is thinking that you are not perfect or part of the universe. You are separate from the universe.
Yes, that's exactly right. So the illusions that people feel is that has them feeling separate, and we've created a society based on separation, not whole, not trusting, not abundant, feeling lack and fear. And our society is really choking on that right now. We've pumped this up right now to incredible levels. And they call this time the Great Awakening. So I've been hearing about it for decades. I couldn't wait till we got here. I was rather impatient. And now I should probably shut up and just let things unfold as opposed to wish for this kind of stuff. But anyway, but it had to happen. So that's what it is that when people are talking about non-duality, they're talking about that everything is love. Everything was created in the same energy. Everything is perfect and is interconnected the way it's supposed to be and as creation intended it. And that we have, because we have free will, we have free thinking, we can actually decide something different than that. For whatever reason, our frequency and our insertion point on this planet was lack. And that we were taught, we were socialized by everybody else that was already here, what that reality looks like and who we are and how real that lack is. And then we teach the next generation about lack. So that is it there, is that usually when I start with the people, like where is evil, and I don't do the rest of it, people really struggle with this. Commissioner, do you have a question?
No, I just want to say something.
Yep.
I think that it starts off from school. I think it starts off when we are at school, because you know, we are trained to think in a certain way. Like, you got to finish school, you get your degree, then you get a job, and you know. But then you realize that you finish school, you get your degree, you get a job, and it's not all, it's not everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you're right. There is a lot of in school, and everything that we're told about how we're supposed to live life is where we stand in line, we listen to authority, the right answers are what's rewarded. So being fastest and having the right answers. But it's also the indoctrination happens way before then. So how many kids are asking for, because they're being watching TV and going to their neighbor kid's house, and they're being told, like even right down to 3 years old, 4 years old, when kids are starting to ask for things, and then parents say, no, we don't have the money. Well, just go to the ATM. You know, you get it out of there. Go get the money out of there. They have no concept of lack. They just have their stuff, and I want stuff. So we start telling them about, well, we can't do that. Well, why can't we do that? Well, we just don't have the money. Well, where does money come from? Et cetera, et cetera. And it starts very early. We start training kids. What's money? How would you like to make money? How would you like, okay, you dump the garbage, you get some money. You do this, you get some money. And there's a lack of it, and you have to work for it, and you have to work hard for it, and nobody's going to give it to you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's lots of feedback that people are getting on a constant basis about their identity, about how the world works. And, you know, it's good advice. If you want to function in this world, it's a good idea to be able to hear these things. But all of the great disciplines have actually questioned all of this. Is that, you know, so where is our society is based on lack. And it wasn't until people started thinking from, you know, creation and back down to man, are they able to connect the dots that lack isn't real. Lack isn't, it's only a figment of our imagination as a concept. This is what the Buddhists believe, the Vedas, Ayurveda, Hindus, huh?
I think that schools should introduce mindfulness to kids.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they should have a separate subject called mindfulness.
Yeah,
and
if I had $1 for every mother that told me that, is that our schools have been hijacked a long time ago. Even during the times of Queen Elizabeth, I don't remember the philosopher, but they were talking about how to keep, the question he was answering is how to keep the hierarchy. And so how to keep the hierarchy, and this was for the crown, Queen Elizabeth, the first one, is he said the way to keep the crown is that you have to create a system that a certain percentage of people fail at. So you create a system where that if there's a certain degree of people that fail, you've got the base to your triangle. And then you get to choose what success looks like, and they have to jump through certain hoops to get there. Anybody that goes through university is how that used to be. Anybody who didn't go to university was virtually down here. If you weren't learned in some kind of way, you were generally here. And that if you weren't good at school, if you weren't good at authority, you weren't good at those things, you know, you don't want the rebels are the ones having power. You want them to be at the bottom of the pyramid, virtually. So that's how they did it. And they did things like, if you take a look at like a school, the first ones to do this were the British. I don't know, it was before or just during the Industrial Revolution, is they started introducing bells for classes, to start classes and end classes. And what it was to do was to condition the children so that when they went from the school, that they would fit right in with the factories. And the factories use bells that you come to work, this is when you eat, this is where you go home, and that's exactly what they trained all the kids in, exactly at the same time, for example. So the schools have been well taken over a long time ago. There's very little. Most everything is about rewarding the left brain people. The left brain people, this is the science, this is the engineers, this is all that side. These are the people, architects, all of that. So they're definitely on this ladder of being able to move up. So the people that didn't follow the rules and people who wanted to go their own way didn't, like, if you know, who wants to be an artist? Anybody want to be an artist? After you're 20, 30, 40 years old, you still want to be an artist? Yeah, how easy is it to be an artist? They say starving artist for a reason. That's right. So it's not, our society isn't built for people. Our society is built for a hierarchy. So the schools have been taken over a long time ago, and that if you start, I just saw something from a Canadian school about privilege and the imbalance, and teaching kids about that the people that have privilege are old people, white people. There's about 6 or 7 things on there. Oh, and men, and then the ones that are teaching them that you don't have privilege, and that no wonder. And they also were teaching a lot of that stuff in the universities for the last 10 or 15 years, maybe 20 now. And I didn't really understand why they were doing that. Now I do. So Antifa, a lot of the things that are, people are rebelling in the US mostly, and it's, their philosophy isn't about creating anything. They really just know how to burn things down. So I was actually, interestingly enough, I got some of these groups. It wasn't Black Lives Matter, it was another one. It was called Sunshine something or other. And that they had Zoom meetings and somebody recorded them, and they actually went online, and virtually they were telling, most of the managers were telling the kids, which were, a lot of them were teenagers, this is one of the things they said. They said, well, sometimes we need to take risks to make our point and be able to do the things we need to do. So if we need to burn buildings down, we will, and we'll recoup that resource later. That was it. So it was really quite amazing to be able to see what the indoctrination was, and the people that were, and they'd gone through school mostly unnoticed, but in the universities, I started noticing what was being said. So yes, that's just pointing to the design of it. So there's enough for everybody's need. There's not enough for everybody's greed. So that duality is that we believe in lack, and we believe in that we're not good enough, and we believe in fear. And that is not the nature of the universe. And that's not how we were created, in spite of the fact that that's what we believe. And now it's our ability, the whole idea is to be able to learn how to embrace your godliness, the Atman in you, by being in a universe that being in a society that's not that at all. But everything around us is perfect and works as a miracle, except for our society and us as individuals. So what we're doing to the planet, what we do to each other, what our beliefs are, is all based on lack. And that's what's being pushed to examine from all of these disciplines. Okay, it's never gone this fast before. So I wasn't sure I was going to get this done in 2 hours. So a little bit of feedback from people about what duality is and non-duality is, just so that I can see that you've got the concept. And I think we'll start with Megan, because we can't see her. And I think she's sleeping and eating snacks.
You could try see. It's just very dark in here. Hello. You don't have electricity. Only
Oh, okay.
Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay, I see. And you want to save your battery.
Yeah.
Okay, you can
Um,
turn your camera off, and
yeah,
then
27%. So
yeah, turn your camera off, and then just give me an idea. What is duality and non-duality?
So can I just say that I think in today's modern, not even today, but I think like starting with the Industrial Revolution, all of that. Before that, I think people were a lot more in touch with, they realized that they were one with the universe kind of and not separate from it.
Mm.
And they were like very in touch with like creation and ritual and themselves and nature. And I think just with like how the world has gone and how like people have become very greedy, and with greed and power struggles, we've grown further and further away from that. So I think it's quite not necessarily a modern thing, because I mean it's been fairly modern, non-duality.
Yeah. I think it's always been. I think there's been degrees of it. There is, but I'm going to get to the Bhagavad Gita, and when they talk about the yugas, which are time periods. But when I think of like the pagans, and the pagans were about being connected to the earth, they were about understanding the plants. They were opened up, and the women were there's stories of the plants talking to them. There's stories of being ones with the animals. It was the women definitely had the power in that community, as in they had the greatest scope of connection and understanding, which was revered. And the men had a different job, because they weren't connected to everything like women are, is that they're more grounded, because they're more one thing. They're more grounded. So there was men could, ground women, and women could make the world more expansive for men. And the pagans are the first ones that come up for me. I also heard all of the mythologies around Lemuria and what's the other one? But the ancient civilizations, damn it, can't remember one of them. I just had it a moment ago, but it'll come back to me. That points to that and even just down to the pyramids, is that they still don't know how the pyramids were made, and that the precision that they were made with, and it was like they were laser cut. The engineers that have looked at the pyramids are saying that we couldn't build those today, even with the cranes that we have. And they don't know how they cut that stone, and the millions of tons that it takes to actually build these pyramids is still a mystery. So then there's also in the Bhagavad Gita is they talk about the yugas. And in the time of the yuga we're in now, the time period we're in now is 400 and some thousand years. And it is the Kali Yuga, which is where Kali is destroying what's not working, and Kali destroys masculine structures. So this is now the time of Aquarius, and the time since 2012, as the energy is switched to now the power is in the feminine. So we've just begun that. And the Kali Yuga specifically is that the disintegration of even lower of mankind, and that in the Bhagavad Gita it talks about that this is our lowest point of being human, of being intellectual, of being connected to ourselves, and being connected into the universe is now. So that would fit if Megan's pointing to that. Historically, we were probably more connected, but there was certainly parts of our history where we weren't. So I think it was only parts of Lemuria and bugger.
Is it Atlantis?
Yes, thank you. So, but they're, I've always thought of them as being mythology, and then there's a lot more talk today, like even Socrates or Plato. I don't remember which one came first. I think Plato came first. and Socrates was his, and that Plato went to Lemuria, or what's it again, Mia?
Atlantis.
Damn it. I think it was Lemuria that what he visited, and he came back to Greece and told the story of Lemuria and what the shape of it was, that it was these concentric circles with water in between, etc. Recently, there's been somebody that's looked at the land masses, and they could never find where that was. And there's a place in Eastern Africa now that fits the description of the landmass. It's a desert now, but there's a landmass that matches what they described as what Lemuria was. So, which is quite fascinating. So, I think that you might be right. Now, could you take Megan, just to finish that off, could you take a whack at what duality and non-duality is?
Sorry, I was muted. I'm still a little bit confused about duality and non-duality, the terms, but non-duality is being separate from, it's two, so being separate from the creator is kind of what I'm getting from it.
Yes, is that all of the disciplines and the Course in Miracles and everyone else says there's one energy, and that energy is love.
Yeah.
And everything was created in love, and that the duality is when you don't believe that. And when you don't, I don't think the planets are questioning their perfection. And I know the leopard isn't questioning their perfection, but we do. We have doubts about that. But we are conscious beings that we're not just based on intellect. I mean, instinct, sorry. We're not just based on instinct. We actually have, we're able to come up with the concept that there's a me and there's a you, and that there's something that's happening here. We have a different kind of consciousness. So we've been stepped down a little bit. We've kind of got to earn our spurs, I think, in that we've been able to understand ourselves in the universe in a different way. But that we've got to earn our godliness with that new, because that's what's different between us and most of the animals. Like there's a couple orangutans and some chimpanzees that are now signing and having concepts of self. So, which is so we're the first ones anyway to develop this understanding of self. Kamishni.
I just wanted to share this book here that I'm reading.
Yes.
Conscious Parent.
Yep.
By Dr. Shefali Adams. I don't know. Have you seen this book before?
I have not.
Oh yeah, well, it's very interesting.
Yes.
And it's about how parents raise their kids, and also it's about how parents try to push off their hopes and dreams, onto their kids. And then she talks about how when kids are born, each of them come into this world with their own dreams, their own aspirations, their own expectations and stuff. But so she talks about how parents try to push off their unfulfilled dreams and desires onto their kids.
That's right. You're playing the piano. For example, I always wanted to be a piano player, so you're going to. I was an athlete, so you're going to be. So you need to go to university and do these kinds of things because that's what's going to be best for you, because I know. And in some cases, they're partly right. And in some cases, they're mostly wrong. Okay. So yes,
and she also talks a lot about meditation and,
Beautiful. Teaching kids to love themselves and to be whole and to not socialize them into that this is how they need to be to survive in this world, which is survival and fear-based. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Beautiful. Good piece of work. Okay. So thank you, Megan. Anybody else can put into words what duality and non-duality is? Yes, go ahead, Kamishni.
I think maybe it's like being in harmony or being in one with the universe.
Yes. And how are we not? What makes us so, if that's being in harmony with the universe and being one thing, what's got us out of harmony with the universe?
Um, I think maybe like because society dictates how we should live our lives, or
Right?
yeah,
Not
like
not why it's happening, what is happening. What is happening with every being, to every being, that if they are perfect and there's only one energy, then what's happening if they're not thinking and feeling that?
I, I don't know. I think maybe people are scared
Fear, yep. And
because
specifically,
they don't conform to a specific like I don't know how can I put it. If they don't have a specific type of job or maybe drive a certain car, they're going to be judged, or
yeah. So yeah, so what are they thinking? If they're looking for things outside of themselves to determine what their value is, what are they not doing?
they're not following their true, or what they came here to do
Yeah.
on earth. Like, I mean, their true purpose.
Yeah. So what they were created as and who they think they are two different things.
Yeah.
And that would be duality, is that there is one energy, everything was created in love. That's why I think the universe is so huge and so perfect, is so that when you can start looking at the universe and see the perfection in it, and like Einstein was saying, is either everything is a miracle or nothing is. And when you start looking at things like black holes, in the middle of a black hole, I don't remember the actual density of weight, but there's an object about 10 feet across in the middle of a black hole that is virtually the weight of a planet. The density there is ridiculous. So it's just condensed things down to something that's small, but it's incredibly heavy. So speaking of miracles, it's really easy to be able to see the miracles out there, and that in transformation, the more you see the miracles that are out in the world, and then you see the whole world as a miracle, like you can see all the trees and how the planet works, and that there's electromagnetic field that protects us from radiation, that there's gravity, that there's the interdependence of all the creatures is mind-boggling. And then so if everything is a miracle or nothing is, eventually people see the entire universe as a miracle except for themselves. And it creates a dilemma where they actually have to, there's no way out of it at that point. Because then they have to realize that it's irrefutable that if everything else is a miracle, then they must be too. And then being able to allow yourself that emotional experience. So this is the power of it, is that any thoughts, the power of non-duality is from that point when you can see non-duality is actually the truth, and you can emotionally allow yourself that experience, every doubt you have from that moment on, is a lie instantly. And as soon as you know it's a lie, then you don't have to go through all that mental mastication. Is this true about me? Where does this come from? What's really going on here? Do I deserve this? Do I not deserve this? And the hall of mirrors that our mind is, that our intellect is for and against everything. It can find reasons why something's true, and it can find the equal number of reasons why it's not true. Intellect. But your heart and your connection to all that is one thing. So the power of non-duality is from that moment on, if you can come to the truth, if that is your truth and your belief, that all there is one thing, there's just one energy, and that you're part of that energy, either everything is a miracle or nothing is. Einstein. I mean, how scientific do you need to be? And he says everything is a miracle or nothing is. So, and then that's your choice. And if you can see any miracles out there, a baby, how the world works, whatever it is for you, then there's a knock-on effect that then everything is a miracle. And then maybe you can allow yourself, because that's when I started asking the questions, if creation loved me, what would that feel like? So if there is this, if this non-duality is true, which means creation loves everything, and which is in all of the teachings. So allowing yourself the emotional experiences, well, what happens if creation loved me perfectly? What happens if I don't create myself, that creation already created me? And asking myself, if creation loved me, what would that feel like? So I didn't say creation loved me. I said, if creation loved me. And then I could go and presume that feeling in comfort, without doubt. And I found out in the middle of that is that that love was infinite. I never found the bottom of it. And it eventually crossed a plane when I let more and more and more of it in, that it became irrefutable to me. So no different than the pet or a family member, mother, father, baby that you've loved in your life. Nobody can measure that or prove it to you that you love them, other than you have the experience and that you know it's true. It's the same way about creation, is being able to feel if that's true for you. So that's why it's invaluable, because then you never again have to take a doubt seriously. And that there's some transformational work that goes with that, and that you can start walking around that way. That's virtually how the Buddhists got there. Not exactly the same path, but the same result, that they actually saw themselves as one with everything. And all of the disciplines worth their salt do the same thing, from the Sufis to the channeled material on down. So to reiterate, is that around the only place there's evil is illusion. It's a little circle of perception around each human being. And each human being sees a different perception. Your fears and your experiences of lack are different than mine. The little circle around me is different than yours, but it's my circle of lack. And my job is to be able to look at everything else in the universe and that little feeling inside that says that I think there's more to life. And I think I can feel better. I think I deserve to feel better. And I think there's more to me than what I'm feeling and what the world is showing me. And that's the transformational journey, when people start taking those embers and following them based on nothing. The society's not reiterating to you that you're perfect. It's not doing that. Not even in most of the religions, organized religions and whatever their temples are. Most of them aren't doing that. Some of them are, most of them aren't. So that's the value of duality and non-duality, and that's the concept, is that there's only one thing. And then we'll go back to Einstein. Either everything is a miracle or nothing is. Okay, is it pretty clear? Great. Now, if you ever want to use that, that's not an easy one. The Course in Miracles does this better than anything I've ever seen, but it's not an easy book. It's not an easy read. But really it comes down to allowing yourself the emotional experience. Asking the question, does creation love me? And watch where that goes. Well, that's how I did it. That's the only way I know how to do it. That's how I got around my own mind. I couldn't go, oh, creation loves me, because I couldn't prove it. So I had to ask the question, if. Okay, so I think that's about it about the drawing. Now I'm going to take you to a page in your manual, which is
Page 40.
Is it 40?
I think so.
Yep, it is. You looked in the index, or did you fall upon it?
No, it caught my eye already. I'm going to just show you my gratitude journal, Bryan.
Yeah.
So it caught my eye already, that page.
Be still and know I am God. Is that what it says?
Yeah, it's Psalm 46.
Be still and know that I'm God. Well, that's the interesting thing, because at the top of page 40 is that this material comes from different places. So the first one is, be still and know that I am God. And then that's followed on by, so that's starting to point to it. And then it says, be still and know that you're God. Be still and know that everything that is God. You are part of all that is. All that is not all that is without you. So from Mia, we good? Should I read that again? Oh, you just made a face, so I thought that I might go back. That's you. Okay. So be still and know that I am God, and then be still and know that you are God, and be still and know that everything that is God. So that's oneness. You are part of all that is. All that is not all that is without you. That's Bashar. That's channeled stuff. Fear equals Maya equals illusion. So our fear, therefore our fear is not part of all that is. So unreal. Fear is Maya or illusion. Therefore fear is not part of all that is. So it's unreal. Here is the exact line between duality and non-duality. If our fear is illusionary, then it's not part of all that is, and therefore it's unreal. The Sanskrit below that translates into that the unmanifest is the fullness of the divine consciousness. This, the manifest, is also the fullness of divine consciousness. When the world manifests from the whole remains undiminished. Speaking about oneness. So that everything that is unmanifest, everything, that, the unmanifest, is the fullness of divine consciousness. This, the manifest, is also the fullness of divine consciousness. When the world manifests from the whole remains undiminished. So it's always a miracle, it's always full, it's always whole. Whether it's manifest or unmanifest, it's still divine consciousness. It's virtually a definition of oneness. Let's see, fear, ego, coloring versus right-minded or knowledge.
Bryan, with this last section, it's reminding me a lot of Namaste. It's like the whole kind of oneness, yes, and what Namaste means.
Yeah, I can paraphrase it, but Namaste means is it's even greater than this. So people say the spirit in me recognizes the spirit in you, but it's actually bigger than that, and it's the perfection in me or the miracle in me recognizes the miracle in you. And people couldn't quite swallow that, so it got translated into the spirit in me sees the spirit in you. And you can just say oneness. The oneness in me sees the oneness in you. Thank you. It's a beautiful. So all of it is about oneness. Meditation is about oneness. The end result of all of the traditional disciplines is oneness. And that means, and then science says either everything is a miracle or nothing is. So science confirms it at the end of the day. And if you want to learn anything about, like also Einstein and Tesla both said that everything in the universe is frequency and vibration. So you can change your frequency. You can be in control of that. Your hands are on the levels and the levers and dials of your life. And just an interesting note is somebody came up to Einstein. I'm trying to think of what decade that was in. It was the 40s, the 50s, or the 60s. I don't remember which. And the reporter said, "So what is it like to be the smartest man in the world?" And he said, "I don't know. Go ask Nikola Tesla." So if you have any interest in, the interesting thing about Tesla is he's not in any school books, ever. They never taught anything about Tesla. He had hundreds of patents. He was doing all kinds of interesting things. And it is, I don't know what's mythology anymore and what's not, but I tend to believe a lot of what's actually going on there. He died a pauper in New York City in an apartment, single. He said that, you know, having a mate would be too constricting, you know, to have to deal at that level as opposed to where he worked. And but really interestingly enough, his best friend was a pigeon that actually came to his house and came into his house that was on the building, and that he spent his time with a pigeon, which apparently they had a very close relationship, which is interesting. So Nikola Tesla, when he died, the agencies in the US, the intelligence agencies, went in and got all of his papers, and we really don't know what happened to any of that from that point. But he wasn't in any of the textbooks, and he's the one that created alternating current. So Edison created current, I don't know what the other one's called, but what it was is that when the current went from the generator through the neighborhood and then back to the generator, it would lose power the further it got along. So what Tesla was able to figure out, and it took him a long time to figure this out, but what he did is he sent, alternating meant he would send it this way around, and then he would send it back, and then he'd send it this way and then send it back. So the electricity was going two different directions, and it was able to keep it powered all the way around. And that's the lights that we have today is alternating current, which was Tesla. And everybody knows about Edison, but nobody knows about Tesla. So he's worth a look. Okay. Let's finish up here. So if we go a little bit lower than that, halfway down the page on page 40, ego, fear, or coloring versus right-minded or knowledge. They're the mind modifications. The mind has certain states experienced as either painful or not painful that limit us psychologically and mentally. Through yoga, we can rid the mind of these states. Patanjali mentions 5 mind states, moods, modifications, or realities, vrittis. The right knowledge, wrong knowledge, imagination, sleep, and memory. When we are ignorant, we take these above realities, our total reality, therefore limiting our experience and capabilities. Transformation through yoga allows us to become less ignorant as we see through the delusion of our seemingly fixed reality as perceived by our current mind limitations. Patanjali's prescription for this ignorance is twofold: to rid the mind of realities, or vrittis, samkhya, numbers of realities. So, abhyasa, repeated practice, which does not become dull or boring, maintaining alertness. Vairagya, Kamishni, help me. I caught her in the middle of a yawn. So the bottom of the
Vairagya.
Yeah. Without any emotional coloring, non-judgment. So when we talked about fair witness, the Western term for it is fair witness, or that you're a scientist in understanding the nature of human being. In Sanskrit, it's without any emotional coloring, non-judgmental. See it as it is. The Talmud was the book before the I can't remember I'll think of it in a minute, but the ancient Jewish book was about, we don't see the world as it is, we see it as we are. So this is the material of being able to see the world as duality or non-duality. That's your choice. Anytime you're in fear and lack, what the disciplines are suggesting is that the automatic insertion point of us as human beings in our society is the assumption that we're separate and that we're not whole, and there's an experience of lack, and I need to fight for mine, and I need to be fearful, and that when you come to, if you want, you can come to an understanding of non-duality where there's only one energy. Either everything is a miracle or nothing is. Okay, I think that's pretty much it about duality and non-duality. I've never had an easier time of this, ever. And all I did was I did it backwards. I did creation first. Huh. Wow, that's only took 7 years. Good job, people. Okay, any questions about that? Any questions about, and is it useful? Like, I know you've got it as a concept, but can you use it in any kind of way, or do you think you will be able to use it somewhere in your future?
Yeah, totally. I think we just have to, for me, I'd remind myself, that I am a miracle and everything is a miracle. Because it's been 48 years of not believing it.
Yeah.
But I also believe, we come into this world, I'm a mother of 2 boys and, they almost 17 and 21. So, when I look at how the innocence, they're so true to themselves. And, thank God they've always been to schools where they are self-empowered and it hasn't just been about academics. And it's almost like now we come onto earth to almost unlearn everything that, we almost go back to when we were that perfect little baby. We got to unlearn the beating ourselves down, being hard on ourselves, the perspective, yeah, sure. It's quite a lot it's insane.
Yeah,
And
where go ahead.
Sorry.
No,
and also where the world is, it's, with like this virus, like we are, I believe we're passing through an eye of a needle now. And there is that rich 1% and 2%, but I think wealth isn't the number one. The wealth and the greed isn't the number one priority by a lot of people. What this virus has taught us is that family is important, our health is important, having a good life is important, because our freedom got taken away from us, never again.
Yes.
And I think that's why I think we are going through a great awakening, definitely. And I do believe like we're going through an eye of a needle, and something beautiful is going to come. Or a new world where people just take their power back, and where other things just become more important, because we can't carry on.
Go ahead.
I'm done.
I believe the same thing, is that there's lots of people that are calling it the eye of the needle. Cryon even has an episode that's called the eye of the needle.
How do you spell that? Because I can't find him online.
Kryon.
Okay. Thank you.
And I used to, interestingly enough, I used to hate Cryon. I didn't listen to it. I didn't like it. I was completely process oriented. Like if you couldn't show me something about the human condition, it wasn't particularly useful to me. Bashar was very much more about practice. Now I listen to Cryon. The last few years, I listened to him almost twice a day when I wake up and when I go to bed. So it's really quite valuable. He's got really good material. If you're interested in that stuff, have a listen to it and see if it does anything for you. So I wake up to him and I fall asleep to him. It used to be the Course in Miracles, but I haven't quite got back to that yet. Beautiful. Any other ideas or thoughts or concepts? Any insights or questions?
Bryan,
yep.
I have a question.
Yep.
Would you ever think about perhaps like presenting this whole philosophy manual in like a 3-day course or something like that?
Yeah, I did when we weren't doing Zoom and I would go to Malawi or to Pretoria or to Windhoek to teach our yoga teacher training, I was only there. I would do this entire manual in 3 days. And so we would skip a few points. It was at breakneck speed, and it really requires, I've done a lot of different transformation in a lot of different ways, and there's something to be said when you do the material at the same time you're doing the physical practice. and over a period of time. The physical practice opens something up in people and raises their frequency that they can, this material can go in. When I've just, that's why I like doing it with yogic philosophy, is because people are, it's much better math for them to be able to put it into their body and cells and feel it and have openings for it. I don't know why that is, but the yoga lends itself to the yogic philosophy and transformation very much. But I will be doing, like, there's parts and pieces of it.
It's just like, I think a lot of people out there, no, I'm just saying, I think a lot of people can benefit from this, but they don't necessarily want to become a yoga instructor.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just think it's valuable insight and information, because, and the other thing is, I don't have anybody to talk to anymore now, because they believe in something completely different. So thanks, Bryan.
Yeah, sorry about that, but we all need to bear that rock. But there are more of us. There are more of us that believe that, and we're always there, and these people are always here. So you do have people to talk to. And I think one of your friends is doing the next course. So I think that you've decided that you need somebody to talk to. Yeah, good job.
I pushed her.
And then like, this is something you can help me on, all of you, is that I am, like, the Masters of Lack video that you got is I haven't really had time to create more, but I will be creating a curriculum and online teachings that these things will lead people to. So there will be something online that's available to a larger audience and outside of yoga teacher training. Maybe we'll add some yoga into it anyway. Yeah, because they can do that in their own, we could actually do that. They can choose their participation, but I'll highly recommend that they actually do some yoga. And the teacher training, really, because when you guys are pushed to stand in the front of the room and teach, it opens you up and makes you vulnerable in a way that, and you're so risking everything about who you are and your identity and failure and growing, that it opens you up perfectly for this material. So don't underestimate how much of it is that you're actually standing in front of the room teaching and taking a large risk. Nobody looked forward to that. Thank God on the first day we had you teaching. On the first day. We got you over all of that stuff immediately. That's by design. So yeah, I'll be sending, the point of all that was I'll be sending to your group videos as they come out. And if you can give me critiques and send it to people to get, some kind of feedback or not, don't feel like you have to do anything. I would appreciate if you did help give feedback and send it to people so that we can make our products better. But also I want to mention is that you will be a group on our groups forever, if you want to be. And we send you stuff. We'll send you advertisements and all that other stuff and these videos and that kind of things. And we don't really interact with you much after the course. And I want you. So stay connected, check in from time to time, come to class, find out what's going on. If you have any problems in your life, like things that you could use another set of eyes on, don't hesitate in getting a hold of me. And Bianca, I'm sure, is the same way. And she's got eyes. That woman can see. So you can get my perspective or hers or both of ours, frankly. And there's lots of people around the studio that actually have knowledge in transformation. So, and yoga for that matter. So please, don't be upset that if we're just sending you stuff to look at and advertisements and that kind of stuff. It isn't because we don't love you anymore. But please come, please come to us. Please stay in contact, because this is the most pleasurable thing I do in my life is this. So I very much enjoy it and very much enjoy the fact that I got to do this with you all. And just hope that there's something that you can take away, especially around a practice. Almost all of you have talked about the difference that meditation made for you. make an emotional memory of that, so that when you get busy and you forget, and that you haven't meditated for 6 months, that you do 2 minutes, just 2 minutes. All you got to do is 2 minutes, feel the difference. And if that worked, you might do another 2 minutes the next day. Okay. So any other questions about everything? Yeah. Oneness. Yes. Kamishni, that's the answer. What were you asking?
Okay, so when are you gonna start paying us our R1 per second?
Well, the interesting point of that question was, if I paid you R1 a second, how long would it take for you to be a trillionaire? 3,200 years. I'm not sure I'm going to live that long, but do you really need to be a trillionaire?
We can get, I accept weekly payments. Weekly.
Weekly. Okay. I'll
Yeah.
work on that. I'll work on that. Beautiful.
Okay.
Let's see. Megan, are you still there? Megan's gone. Shame.
Megan dropped off. She said that connection she lost, and then she said thanks.
Okay, she can watch the end of this on the recording. For Mariki, you might want to watch the beginning of this. There's I don't know how much you missed, but there might be some valuable things in there. But you more or less got the point. If you got duality and new duality, that was the end result. It just might make a little bit more sense about how I got there. Go ahead.
No, will do. Thanks, Bryan.
Cool. Okay, so we have 6 minutes, and we have time for one last meditation in philosophy. Who would just love to do that? I should call Megan. Who would just love to do that? And I choose Marianne because her meditations are so delicious that we're going to do it anyway. So if you wouldn't mind taking us through a 3 or 4 minute meditation, and then we can do our final goodbyes.
Okay. Sorry, just setting my timer.
Yay. Does it ding?
Yeah, that's good. All right. Okay, everyone, you can sit yourself straight up or in any nice comfortable position. Maybe have your feet grounded or your sits bones. And just soften your eyes or close your eyes preferably. And let's settle into our breath. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose. And exhale, open your mouth and sigh. Let's do one more of those. Nice inhale in your nose. And open your mouth and sigh. And you just can continue with your normal breath. Inhale through your nose. Breathe out through your nostrils. And send your attention to that warm air that you are inhaling. As you send it through your body, filling up your lungs. And as you exhale, another batch of warm air is going out past your upper lip. Maybe send your attention as well to your mental energy, your physical energy. And just in general, how you're feeling. You're processing all of this amazing things that we discussed tonight. With every breath, just relax part of your face muscles, your jaw. Let your tongue fall away from the palate. Soften your eyes, soften the brows. And focus on that nice bright light that is shining in you. Find peace and tranquility. Maybe start focusing on your exhale, making it slightly longer than your inhale. Finding stillness for a little bit longer. Bring your awareness back to your breath. Bring it back into the room. Maybe when you're ready, you can blink your eyes open.
Before you do, keep your eyes closed. I'm going to do one more thing. Thank you, Marianne. Beautiful. Feel deeply into yourself. Really dig deep into your connection to what you are, your inner world, your inner galaxy. Drop even deeper into the expansiveness of that. And think of your connection to oneness. When creation created the world and all that's in it, and the miracle that everything is, allow for a moment to feel if creation loved you as it loves all its creation, what would that feel like? Like any mother loves her child, or any father loves their child. Multiplied by the infinity of creation. How much of that can you feel? What can you let in about creation loving you perfectly? Breathe it in. How much can you drink in? Loving every part of you. Just because you don't think you're whole, creation knows better. And there's a reminding of you how you are made and what you actually are. Drinking in the love of creation, how much can you drink in? How deep can it go? How far inside of you? How absolutely complete? Breathe it in. Radiate it from your heart as you exhale. As it goes back into oneness. And as you inhale, drink in deeply of how much love of creation can you drink in? How deep can it go? Deeper than the first one. And radiate it, that love back out from your heart, back into creation, back into oneness. Breathe in again and drink in even deeper. Absolute love. Radiate from your heart as it becomes one of oneness again. Drink in deeply the love of creation. Even deeper. You're not a drop in the ocean, you're the ocean in a drop of all the qualities of the ocean. And radiate it from your heart. Last two. Drink in deeply, even deeper. Radiate it from your heart. Last one, slow and deep as you've done. Breathe in the love of creation, wholly and completely. And radiate it from your heart as that love goes back into oneness. You can drop all the imagery and just feel you for a moment. That you feel rejuvenated. You can feel the energy inside of you tingling, effervescent. Having no thoughts and experience of wholeness. And it's delicious to be you. It's delicious to be loved by creation. And finish any business you have with yourself in the next few breaths. Make an emotional memory of the depths of that love. Make a memory of the feeling, what that felt like. Because if you make a memory of the energetic frequency, feeling, experience, you can come back to it. Just by deciding with your intention that you know where you're going. But you have to remember where you're going. Give yourself a bit of a hug on the inside. Be grateful for who you are and how you've managed life so far. None of it's been easy. And you're still awesome. Remember to play. Remember to have it be light. Listen to the birds in the morning when night turns to morning. When you're tired with what's going on in the world and society. The birds, when they wake up in the morning, will remind you that the earth hasn't changed. Society is in a different heightened crescendo of their own fear and division. And you can be aligned with all that is. One last hug to self as you can blink your eyes open, come back into the room. Well, that sums up the yogic philosophy portion of your yoga teacher training. I hope that it was as lovely for you as it was for me. I enjoyed myself immensely. And hello, Marcia. I'm missing Megan now. So I hope that you enjoyed it as much as that I did in doing it and putting it together. And I get to experience the greatest thing for me is people teach what they need to learn, especially around transformation, is that this is my greatest reminder of who I am. When I have to teach other people, I can't be whatever my problems are and where I am in my day. So it really is a beautiful experience for me. And I thank you very much for joining me in that and having big ears and listening to the things I said and trying them on and asking good questions and not being too upset with me when I'm talking crazy. So thank you very much. And we'll see you on Saturday. And namaste, people. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll talk.
Namaste. Thank you, Bryan.
Namaste. Anything that you want to share about what happened for you, you'll have a chance to do on Saturday. So you can start thinking about anything that you enjoyed, breakthroughs, things that you're thankful for. Just let us know on Saturday.
Cool.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye all.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, Meg.
Heritage Day.
Bye, Mariki. Bye,
Bye.
Mark.
Hi.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Anka.
Bye, Brian.
Bye-bye.
Oh, we don't want to go.
Hi, Knisni.